Hello, I'm Beverly from the Midland Public Library, and today on Culinary Creations, we are going to make smoked Gouda roasted red pepper tomato bisque. What an awesome soup for a fall day. It has a silky smooth texture and is deliciously rich and creamy. The fire roasted tomatoes, roasted red pepper, and aromatic garlic and onion, savory chicken stock, herb and spices, slow simmered and pureed. And then swirl in heavy cream and melt your smoked Gouda cheese. Okay, what you're going to need for your ingredients list is you'll need 2 14.5-ounce cans of fire roasted tomatoes, 12-ounce jar of roasted red pepper, 3 cups of chicken stock, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, 2 tablespoons dried basil, 1.5 teaspoons of sea salt, a teaspoon of dried oregano, half teaspoon of black pepper, 1 medium onion, 3 large cloves garlic, minced, or you can use the pre-minced stuff, 3 tablespoons of butter, 8 ounces smoked Gouda cheese, shredded. Again, you can use whatever cheese you have, but this one has a nice smoky, creamy flavor, and half a cup heavy cream, croutons, whether you choose to use keto or not, your choice, or even just some crackers or a slice of bread, and fresh basil to garnish. I loved using the fire roasted red tomatoes in this recipe because it gives the tomato bisque a subtle sweetness with just a hint of smokiness. If you cannot find them at your local store, you can make your own, or you can just use regular diced tomatoes. This recipe is pretty versatile. Roasted red peppers have been charred over an open flame, and then the charred skins are peeled away. They add a real depth and flavor to the low-carb tomato soup if you're interested in that sort of thing, or even if you're not, it still tastes fabulous. The chicken stock, you can also use beef or vegetable, totally your choice. I use chicken stock. Herbs and spices for this tomato bisque recipe, I use dried herbs, but you can also substitute fresh herbs. Remember, 1 teaspoon of dried herbs is equal to 1 tablespoon of chopped fresh herb. Smoked Gouda. The smoked Gouda in this roasted red pepper bisque recipe is what really takes things to the next level. It adds a perfect amount of smokiness while also being delightfully creamy. And again, the heavy cream in this recipe gives it a silky, creamy finish. You can also use half and half, or for dairy-free alternative, you can use full-fat coconut milk. For an even creamier soup, add an extra half cup. So like I said, it's quite versatile. So what you're going to do here is heat butter in a large Dutch oven or stock pot over medium heat. Add the onions, garlic, and saute until the onions are translucent and the garlic is fragrant. Add the tomato paste, basil, salt, oregano, peppers to the onions and saute for an additional 5 minutes. Deglaze the pan with half a cup of chicken stock, and using a rubber spatula, scrape up the mix of bits that are stuck to the bottom. Add the fire roasted tomatoes, roasted red pepper, and the remaining chicken stock. Bring to a boil over high heat, then reduce to low and let simmer for 30 minutes. Remember, the longer you let it simmer, the more flavors will come together. Just keep an eye on it, right? Use an immersion blender to puree the soup to a smooth and silky consistency. Add the heavy cream and the Gouda cheese, mix in and let simmer for an additional 15 minutes. Taste and add additional salt and pepper as you desire. So here's some tips. You can store this in an airtight container in your fridge for a couple days. You can also freeze this recipe up to 2 months. I recommend reheating this on the stovetop as opposed to throwing it in the microwave. And add just a little bit more cream to bring it back to life. If you want to, you can use keto croutons if you want something on the top, or even just, maybe a pumpernickel bread broken up. You can make it dairy free, and again, you can use fresh or dried herbs. Tomato soup does not typically have cream and is made with the base of stock or water. Tomato bisque is slow simmered with lots of herbs and spices and a good amount of cream. If you don't have an immersion blender, you can puree this in batches in a blender or food processor. I hope you have enjoyed this culinary creations, and I'll see you in a month's time for another delicious recipe. Bye for now.